I'm Dale Smith. I'm a pilot based at the Carson City Airport, KCXP. Before retirement, I spent 21 years as an aviation subject matter expert for the Navy, the Air Force Combat Electronics Program Office of NavAir, and they were titled PMA 209. Prior to that, I was a master navigator in the Air Force and the chief of current operations for the 379th Bomb Wing in Michigan, a B-52G and KC-135A SAC wing. My primary duties were to interface with the FAA and foreign government air ministries, uh, adjudicating airspace violations, airspace management, and to be liaison with the air route traffic control centers. I'd like the FAA to consider a new nighttime approved instrument approach at KCXP. My design is a straight-in procedure with no turns in the final 6 nautical miles and the aircraft in a constant descent of just under 900 feet per minute from the intermediate point, which would be the beginning of the 2-mile gate prior to the final approach fix. To keep this presentation under 6 minutes, I decided to begin this video at the Dickney waypoint, which is also an IF. The proposed design for a straight-in LNAV VNAV approach to runway 27 at Carson City is predicated on a Category B aircraft arriving at or below 120 nautical miles an hour, which would require a descent angle of 4.2 degrees or less. This design is right at 4.2 degrees as per FAA Order 8260.3 Delta. The minimum terrain clearance is 800 feet based on Google Earth imagery. The final approach course is 4 nautical miles long with a missed approach point 1 nautical mile from the threshold of runway 27 and a threshold crossing height of 35 feet with a touchdown point roughly 750 feet from the begin pavement point. The minimum descent altitude would be set at 5,300 feet, which is 110 feet above the cinder cone just north of the golf course. If the initial approach, if the IAP is flown properly with adherence to centerline navigation, the runway will appear at the pilot's 12 o'clock position at or prior to the missed approach point, and the only decision to make is to land or not to land. The final approach course would consist of 1 nautical mile of visual approach past the missed approach point, 3 nautical miles of final approach course, and 2 nautical miles of a gate between the newly created intermediate point and final approach fix, where GPS cross-track scaling, RNP, and FDC change from 1 nautical mile approach standards to 3/10 of a nautical mile RMP terminal standards. To follow the chart, one would begin the approach at the IAF at Chime, at or above 7,420 feet MSL, and proceed to Dickney and then continue at 7,420 feet to the yet-to-be-named IP. The IP would be a flyby GPS waypoint where the aircraft is then turned to a course of 270 to align with the runway extended centerline and begin a constant rate of descent at 870 feet per minute to the missed approach point. Inbound, there will be a series of inline waypoints with altitude restrictions. These are called step-down fixes. These lie on or below the descent gradient and are provided for terrain separation and restrict anyone flying that might want to use the dive and drive method of descent prior to the next action point. At the IP turn, the aircraft will be 6 nautical miles from touchdown and at or above 7,420 feet. 5 nautical miles from touchdown, the aircraft will be at or above 7,000 feet. 4 nautical miles from touchdown at the final approach fix, the aircraft will be at or above 6,520 feet, and at 2 nautical miles from touchdown and 1 mile from the missed approach point, the aircraft will be at or above 5,740 feet. The map at 5,300 feet will provide vertical separation from lateral terrain outside the primary obstacle clearance plane and would be approximately 100 feet above the constant glide path. The weather minimums for this procedure flying an LNAV IAP would be approximately 500-foot ceiling and 1.25 statute miles of visibility, depending on runway lighting. AILS, real altimeter setting, availability, and cold weather corrections would all have to be considered. The missed approach would be as currently published, with the execution taking place at the new missed approach point, and assuming that the aircraft can climb at or greater than 200 feet per nautical mile to clear Prison Hill. Vertical terrain clearance to the final approach fix provides approximately 1,000 feet of clearance below.